Hello, everybody. It's again Slayer here. Today we are going to react to story. I should my story anime because the story anime is like a game too. It's a really bad game, but it's recently reacting to it because they look like story booth. Share my story, there's always that because they've always been a story booth and my story anime, but there's a lot of stuff that you're going to be on because they're all their channels a little bit after that. But I'm both gonna watch this because we've always made that. So let's watch it and see. So this one we're gonna react to: a billionaire hired me to marry his son. Marry his son. Oh, that's a bad idea. So let's watch it.
Hey, my name is Maria, and something strange happened to me. A billionaire offered me $2 million to marry his son. He told me he wanted a grandchild and that I would make a great mother.
Wow.
But as I later found out, that was a lie. His real intention was to exploit me and enrich himself off of me. And I was barely 18 years old when all this happened. It's a crazy story. But before I tell it to you, please subscribe to our channel. When I was little, my parents lived in a house on a hill. That's why we always drove down a steep slope to get me to school.
Wow.
But one day, the brakes failed and our car accelerated all the way down the slope until we crashed into a wall. I was the only survivor, and the police investigation revealed that someone had cut the brake lines of our car, although they never caught the culprit of the crime. As an inheritance, my parents only left me a few acres of worthless land in the countryside, which I couldn't even sell until I turned 18. So I grew up dirt poor in a foster family here in Mexico.
Wow.
Life was rough until I got approached one day by a well-dressed man. Are you Maria? Yes. I'm Rafael. I was close friends with your parents, and to honor my friendship with them, I wanted to make sure you were well taken care of. It's tragic how they passed away, but I'm here to offer you a job in my company as a personal assistant. Oh, thank you, but I'm still in high school and not looking for a job. Rafael didn't care and offered me a starting salary of $60,000 US, which was a crazy high amount for a poor Mexican girl like me. I couldn't say no to such a generous offer, but I still hesitated because there was something creepy about this guy.
What?
He kept telling me, I know what is best for you, while pushing me around with his hand on my naked shoulder. I was only 17, and he made me feel extremely uncomfortable, but against my gut feeling, I accepted the offer. Rafael's company was in the mineral extraction business, and when I came into his office to shake his hand, I accidentally knocked over a glass of water on his lap. I'm sorry! Never mind, darling. Mistakes happen. The question is, will you correct them? Wait, did he want me to personally dry his crotch? He grinned at me, but before I could respond, someone else came into the room. Oh, there he is! Maria, this is my son, Diego. You'll be his new personal assistant. I hope you get along well. Diego was the same age as me, but a creep. On my first day of work, he told me, Maria, it'll be fun having you work below me, or above me, depending what position you prefer, if you know what I mean. I think he was trying to be funny, but all it did was gross me out. 1 week later, he made me massage his shoulders and said, a massage without happy ending is like torture. Anyway, I know a good restaurant downtown. We can go there on a romantic date and get to know each other a bit more intimately. Listen, I'm not interested in you because I'm not attracted to creeps. Diego's response surprised me. He suddenly apologized and begged me to give him another chance. It was strange. After all, his family was rich, and he could have easily dated a prettier girl than me. So why was he so desperate to date me? I turned him down again, but this time he got mad and said, You poor girl, think I'm not good enough for you? Do you know who I am? I've got connections. I can pay the cartels to let you hang down a bridge. He was referring to the Mexican cartels that sometimes hang their enemies from bridges. This time, he had taken it too far, though. No salary was worth being threatened, so I told his dad Rafael about his behavior. Thank you for letting me know. Don't worry, Diego won't bother you again, I promise. An hour later, I heard shouting coming out of Rafael's office. Then Diego stepped out with blood running down his mouth and a swollen black eye. Someone had beaten him up. Oh my God, are you all right? Yeah, I'm okay. Listen, I want to apologize for threatening you. I just really like you and I'm not good at showing it. Before I could say a word, he rushed away. Then his dad came out. What happened to Diego? He had an accident, but it's none of your business. Why don't you come into my office for a minute? We need to talk. I could see the bruises on Raphael's knuckles, and I was afraid that he might hurt me too, but I went in anyway. My son Diego is a spoiled prick and loser. He lacks the intelligence to take over my business one day, and that's why I need you. I want you to marry my son and give me a grandchild. You can divorce him again afterward if you like. All I want is a legitimate heir, and I am willing to pay you $2 million for it. Are you serious? Yes, but you have to hurry. I expect you to marry him within 3 months, or else I'll fire you from your job and find another woman to marry my son. Also, Diego must never know about our deal. It suddenly all made sense. Raphael had given me this job so I would fall in love with his son. But I kept rejecting Diego, which is why Raphael was now offering me money to marry him. Of course, I still despised Diego. He was a creepy weirdo. But I grew up poor and I didn't want to go back to living in a shack and eating beans all day. The $2 million offer was my ticket to financial freedom, and so I accepted it. I just never suspected that Raphael was actually having a hidden and much more sinister plan as to why he wanted me to marry his son. So the next day, I tried to seduce Diego rather directly. Hey, I need your help. My little kitty climbed up a shelf and can't get down again. Can you come home with me and help her? Oh, sure. We got to my home and I said, actually, I don't have a cat. And then I kissed him.
Yep. Because that idea. Good.
Wait, I thought you don't like me. What? No, I was just playing hard to get. I actually love it when you make naughty jokes. Diego fell for it and proposed to me a month later.
She
I
don't
said
like
yes,
it.
but I was already thinking
She
about
don't like
divorcing
it.
him again as soon as he got me pregnant and I got my $2 million check. But the night before our wedding, Diego drank more than he should have and said, I completed my task, but he can keep his filthy money. What are you talking about? My father. He promised me $2 million if I marry you. But I don't want his money. I've got you, and that's all that matters. I didn't tell Diego that his dad had made me the same offer. Instead, I asked, why would he pay you that much money? I don't know. He was probably just lying anyway. He wants everyone to think he is wealthy when he's actually broke. He has a gambling addiction and is in debt. He told me if I managed to marry you before your 18th birthday, all our financial problems would be solved. You were worth a fortune, he said. I? Worth a fortune? How
Damn.
come? No idea. But the answer is in a red folder at my dad's office safe. He waved it in his hand when he talked about it with me. I tried to grab it, but he said, no, first you marry Maria, and then I'll let you in on the plan. Then he put the folder into his safe. Do you know the combination to open it? Yeah, I think so. So in the middle of the night, we entered his dad's office to try and open the safe. But Diego couldn't figure out the right code. You said you knew the combination. I'm sorry. Maybe I drank too much. What a moron! But then I had an idea. It seemed as if I was the protagonist of this whole story. So I went ahead and typed in my own birth date. Click. The safe opened, and I fished out the red folder. To my surprise, it contained a plot map of the land I had inherited from my parents after they died. Then I turned the page and found a geological report that said that there were palladium reserves worth $200 million on my land. Suddenly, it all made sense. But then I heard his voice. Look who's here. Raphael entered the office with a bodyguard by his side. As soon as you entered the wrong pin into the safe, it sent an alert to my phone. I knew right away that my idiot son betrayed me. You disappoint me again. Raphael looked at Diego with utter contempt. Maria, I see you found the folder. Why don't we make a deal? Nah, I think I'll pass. Oh, you are just as arrogant as your father. He betrayed me when he bought that land and didn't share it with me. That's why I had to murder him after all. Yeah, it all makes sense now. You murdered my parents because no one else knew how valuable the land was, and you wanted to buy the land for cheap after we all died. Correct. But unfortunately, you survived the accident and inherited the land. I thought about murdering you in your children's home, but it was too risky. So instead, I chose to let you marry my son. Because if we discovered how valuable your land was after you married him, then half of the land's appreciation would go to my family. So what now? You either marry my son, or I have to get rid of you once and for all. Afraid, I grabbed Diego's arm, saying, "Whatever happens, I really loved you." Of course I was lying, but Diego ate it up and threw himself on his dad to disarm him. The bodyguard got into the brawl too, and I had time to escape. I took the red folder with me, and when I turned 18, I approached a big international mineral extraction company and showed them the geological report. Palladium has multiplied in value over recent years, so the land that was worth $200 million 20 years ago, I was able to sell for more than $1 billion.
Wow.
After all, life was good to me.
Jeez, yeah. I love that story. That story was so cool, though. That story was never been cool enough, though. She was really hearing it. So we're gonna just watch 2 videos of it. We're just gonna watch one because that's like basically. So let's watch. I tested one person for 5 years. We're just gonna watch 2 videos because we always want to do that. Because I don't like. We don't want to watch the whole story and stuff like that.
I'm gonna tell you something scary.
What happened?
I just attacked a city and saw a giant animal. It's called...
Hey, I am Selma, and this here is my best friend, Megan. Although I haven't actually seen Megan in over 10 years. In fact, I'm pretty sure she's dead, murdered by her high school boyfriend, Manfred. But before I tell you the whole story, please subscribe to this channel and like the video. Okay, back in high school, Megan and I did everything together, including shoplifting. Both of our families were rich, so we could have simply bought the clothes ourselves, but that wasn't the point. For me and Megan, it was all about the adrenaline rush that we got from breaking the law. Then, in 12th grade, Megan fell in love with this guy, Manfred. Manfred was best known in our school for playing an awful prank on his math teacher, where he slipped a real rat tail, into his coffee. When the teacher took another sip and noticed the tail, he got so disgusted that he vomited all over his desk. It was a big scandal, and the school administration tried everything to figure out who was responsible for this prank. However, none of Manfred's classmates snitched on him, because they were all afraid that he would beat them up as revenge. This was understandable, considering Manfred had once broken the nose of a classmate just because he didn't let him cheat off his paper during an exam. All of this should have been a big red flag for Megan. I told her not to date Manfred, but a girl that is in love doesn't always think rationally. At the same time, Manfred was a master manipulator. He made Megan believe that they were soulmates and pressured her to move into his rundown little shack, even though they were just teenagers. Megan agreed to move in, and that's when the horror show began. I once visited them. Megan's dog had just died, and I came by to console her. Manfred was there too, but all he did was scream at Megan. "I know your dog just died, but are you always going to cry like a little girl when something bad happens?" Manfred showed no empathy at all, and even said, "I hope your tears won't wash away your makeup, because you know I will throw up if I have to see your real face once more." I had enough and screamed, "Stop it! Megan deserves better than you, scumbag!" Manfred wasn't happy that I stood up to him, so he grabbed my arm, dragged me to the door, and literally kicked me out. I fell right on the pavement and bruised both my knees, which hurt a lot. However, I knew that Megan had it much worse. The next day in school, I told her, "You have to break up with Manfred before he's going to hurt you." I know he has issues, but I still love him.
Damn.
Oh God, I hate it when girls let a guy treat them like crap in the name of love. It took Megan another 3 months of surviving Manfred to finally come to her senses. I just can't be with him anymore. He's so cruel to me. And yesterday I found out he got another girl pregnant but refuses to visit his own child. Great, then break up with him. But what if he won't accept it? What if he won't let me go? It's not up to him. If he threatens you, call the police and send his butt to prison. I don't know. Maybe I should just run away. What? No! You have to stand up to him. Don't let this jerk destroy your life. To this day, I wish I hadn't given her that advice. Megan knew better than me just how dangerous Manfred was. But because she respected my opinion, she met up with Manfred after school to break up with him. And, well, that was the last day I ever saw Megan. The next morning, I found out that she had gone missing. Meanwhile, Manfred claimed that he had found a goodbye by Megan, saying that she had run away to another state. The police only searched for her for 2 days, until they asked me if I knew something about Megan's disappearance. I foolishly said, "Yeah, Megan thought about running away because she was scared of breaking up with her boyfriend." Oh God, I should have never told them that, because after my statement, the police concluded that Megan had indeed just run away, and so they stopped searching for her. None of it made sense, though. Megan was my best friend, and I knew she would contact me if she ever ran away, at least to let me know she was safe and well. This was so unlike her. She didn't even contact her own parents.
Wow.
She was just suddenly gone. I couldn't shake the feeling that Manfred was behind her disappearance, which is why I started following him around. I quickly noticed that he spent most of his time in his basement, which made me wonder if he held Megan captive inside there. So one night, I crawl up to his window and cover it with duct tape. I had read on the internet that this would prevent any noise being created from me smashing the glass with a hammer. However, I broke the glass and it was incredibly loud. I prayed that it didn't wake Manfred, but of course it did. "What are you doing here?" I was so shocked I couldn't bring out a word. "I know that you've been stalking me for the last couple weeks. I advise you to stop it or I will make you seriously regret it." He scared me so much that of course I stopped my investigation. And surprisingly, 1 week later, I got contacted by a new number saying, "Hey, it's me, Megan. I'm sorry I didn't text you earlier. Just wanted to let you know that I'm fine." Well, I was very suspicious. To find out if this was really Megan, I had to video chat with her. And to my relief, she agreed, and we talked for a while on Skype. I said, "You should also call your parents and the police so they stop worrying." "Oh, my parents have never cared about me anyway. Please don't tell anyone that we've talked."
Wow. So she left. In the video chat. And she thought it was not her, but it is her now. That was her the whole time. It was her the whole time. It was her the whole time.
"Oh, my parents have never cared about me anyway. Please don't tell anyone that we've talked." Megan and I stayed in touch with each other over the next 5 years.
Damn.
I often texted her that I wanted to see her again in person, but she always declined. That's why I slowly started to wonder if maybe Manfred was holding Megan captive and that he had simply forced her to Skype with me to make me believe she was fine and make me stop stalking him. I wrote, "You must prove somehow that you are safe. Maybe Skype with me while you're outside in public. Or even better, we meet each other somewhere." "Okay, I was planning to visit you anyway. I can come by train next week. Will you pick me up from the train station?" Oh, I was so relieved. I even thought about telling her that it was no longer necessary to visit me at all. But then, 2 days later, after I finished my shift as a nurse, the door of the car next to mine opened with a masked man jumping out and trying to pull me inside. I fought him off as best as I could, but he was way stronger than me. Luckily, another man just walked by and saw what was happening. "Hey, let her go!" It was 2 against 1 now, and the masked man panicked and let go of me again to jump in his car and drive away. Meanwhile, I immediately called the police to report what had happened. I said I was certain that it was Manfred who had tried to kidnap me. I also showed them the text messages I had received from Megan over the last 5 years. I explained that Manfred must have tried to abduct me because I was still trying to solve Megan's disappearance. The police understood they had to act quick, so they rushed over to Manfred's house to search it. Manfred wasn't there anymore, but they found out that Manfred had also bought the neighboring house and that he had connected the 2 basements through a tunnel. When the police entered the other house's basement, they found it flooded with water. Manfred probably did so to destroy any DNA evidence left behind from Megan, who he might have held captive in there for several years. It was crazy. Finally, Manfred came back in his car a few hours later. "Where have you been? You were under investigation." "Me? I just took a drive out in the desert. Why?" Indeed, his statement was later confirmed by video camera footage of a gas station. The police now believed that Manfred disposed Megan's body somewhere out in the desert, but they never found her body, and so due to lack of evidence, Manfred was never convicted of any crime and he is still running around freely. Further police investigation also found that all text messages I had received over the last 5 years from Megan's number had been sent from the same city I live in.
Wow.
So either Megan had never moved to another state, or Manfred had just pretended to be Megan to deceive me. By now, I am pretty sure that Megan is no longer alive, which is both sad and a relief, because at least I don't have to worry about her anymore. Meanwhile, it's chilling to know that I live in the same city as this psycho Manfred. I sometimes wonder if he's mad at me for thwarting his evil plans, and if he's seeking revenge. Either way, for all the girls listening, please be careful about who you date. Some men are incredibly dangerous and don't mind hurting you. Also, if you want to support this channel spreading stories, then please subscribe and leave a like for this video.
Wow. I feel sorry for her sister didn't make it. I feel sorry for her sister didn't make it in time. Yeah, I will subscribe. Now we get all notifications from YouTube because I did not know she was going to live like that. I didn't know she was going to live like that, but I thought she would never live like that. But I knew it was going to happen to her. But I did not know that was going to happen to her sister because there's a lot of stuff that happened to her sister. But I know everything about it. But I was like, if he was going to hurt his sister, there's no way he's going to kill her sister only. So I think that's what's going to happen. But I'm going to end right here because I don't want to take your much time. But I'm going to edit description tomorrow because I'm going to edit the description on this video tomorrow because I don't want to take it long. But join the Squad. Love ya. Bye bye.